Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Coding. After the previous video, I had a feeling that I need to make this video covering another Voronoi creations. But instead of using the cell fracture, this time I'll be using Sverchok Voronoi 2D nodes. So yeah, apparently Sverchok actually have Voronoi 2D nodes, and I think I use it at some point, but I haven't used it in a way that I can do something like this. This is what is this? This is like a grease pencil. I just draw a grease pencil on top of a plane, and yeah, and then as a result we get this kind of Voronoi cracking. It's actually pretty easy to set up. You might didn't know that this is actually possible, and I actually didn't know as well until I realized, hey, this is as easy as you have a grease pencil here, and you need to randomize it slightly. If you zero it out, you might not be able to see the Voronoi thing, but if you randomize the points of grease pencil slightly, you start to get this kind of familiar Voronoi kind of pattern. And just so, yes, simply just combining the two and using Voronoi, you actually get this kind of like a Voronoi pattern topology, and then you just need to use fill hole, and you're done with it. So it's actually very simple. Let's try this from scratch. File, save as. So this is a grease pencil Voronoi demo. I will do everything inside Sverchok, so I don't need to have anything in the 3D scenes. I'll just jump into Sverchok and use the plane MK2. Plane MK2 itself will generate a grid. So I will increase the grid size and then center it, scale it, and just leave it like that. Look at it from top view, and I will draw like a grease pencil. Maybe just like something like that. So it's a little bit off the grid slightly. I'll bring it in into Sverchok, grease pencil, and select the GP layer, active frame. Okay, all good. Pass points checked. And all we need to do, I think, just join the points that are from the plane and points from the grease pencil, and join level should be 2, and we should have this kind of points. You see the points from the grid and the points from grease pencil, and all we need to do is just plug this into Voronoi 2D, and then we get this kind of a very interesting kind of spreading. I don't know how to explain this, but this is actually what this algorithm does, which is pretty interesting. There's like this weird clipping things. If I just plug this into that, and we have this kind of design file, save as. I found that even this is quite interesting as it is. If you want to make it a little bit better, you can use randomized input vertices after the grease pencil, and just because this is just like a 2D Voronoi, we don't want to do anything with the Z. I think just do some things with in the X and Y, and then we slightly randomize the points of the grease pencil, so we have more natural Voronoi looking pattern. It's a bit like bubbles actually. I don't know how to explain it, but I think that's what it is. And there's a clipping thing that's going on. But the funny thing is, if I try to increase the resolutions of the grid, suddenly the clipping doesn't matter anymore. So the clipping is being handled. We don't need to have clipping. It's just like a grease pencil, and looks quite kind of nice like this actually. Yeah, very clean. And in fact, if I switch to another frame, I just what should I write? Maybe I just write this letter number alphabet 3. I can randomize it, maybe less randomization actually, so we still can see the correcting. Maybe I can even like scale this vector math and just use scale, multiply scalar, scale this. So yeah, that actually works as well quite nicely. Randomize the seed. If you want everything to look like Voronoi-ish, you can really randomize the grid. Let's do that real quick. So that's with a little bit more randomizations on the grid itself. So everything looks a little bit more Voronoi-ish, but you can still see number 3, sort of. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting in itself. Maybe it can be like some kind of pattern for a design. Let's simplify this. Don't worry about that randomizations on the grid. I kind of like it like this. If we, yeah, we can type anything, you know, like even like if we just draw something random like this, you get letter A, and let's try to do like a smiley maybe. No, spiral. Seems to work. Of course, you don't want just the edge like this unless that's what you want. You can bake it and turn this into real objects using skin modifier. Skin modifier works really fast, so don't worry about, even if you have like a dense kind of mesh, normally this works pretty fast. Another way to do this, if you ever want to mesh a grid, is simply turn it into like a polyline. Okay, probably skinning it is not a good idea with this guy. That's taking quite a while. Might need to restart it. I'll open another Blender. It's okay. So Voronoi 2D apparently pretty powerful. Inside Sverchok we already have that, so it's pretty cool. In order to make it into like a fully enclosed mesh, you just use a fill hole node. Okay, switch to this guy. Let's save this real quick. File, save as. Use fill hole. Plug the edges, so we have vertices edges from this guy into the fill holes, and we should be able to have the hole being filled. Okay, so I guess that's working really well. Maybe increase the randomization. Randomize the seed. Yeah, I think it's a good idea if I actually reduce this thing and increase this. Maybe I should have done it the other way around. Okay, let's reduce this and increase this. So that's looking more Voronoi like a spider kind of web. I really like this pattern. And the next thing you do, you can do like list masking and kind of extruding only those parts, those face. But in this case, I'll just extrude it. Yeah, extrude it. Extrude separate faces. if we can target those faces, it will be a lot nicer. But for now, just random Voronoi extrusion. Like that. Like that. Scale it. So yeah, that's looking fairly interesting. Random number generator. How many faces do we have here? Just use list length. Polygon face goes into the size and make a random number between 0.5 and 2.5. Plug this into the height. There you go. Randomize the seed. Yeah, I think it's definitely will be more interesting if we can just select those faces in the middle. Yeah, I think we can do that pretty easily. I will try to do it here. If I fail, you can try yourself. We have done with the other guy. So yeah, the other guy actually works as well, but it's kind of slow. Gonna close this. Okay, back to this guy, and we have this mask over here. And I think we simply just use the select mesh elements by locations, and the points can come from our Voronoi grease pencil, which is this guy. Goes in. We need to set this up to center and radius, and this points from grease pencil goes in there. And select mesh elements. Okay, slightly tricky. I think this goes in there. Vertices mask, face mask goes in here. Increase the radius. And there you go. That's seems to be working. That's actually working. There's a little bit funky thing, like there's a black hole somewhere. But other than that, this extrusion seems to work. Yeah, I think the extrusion should work with extrude separate, but you can also use another method, which is just using the extrude region. So face mask goes in there. Vertices, polygon, and this goes in here. And you should get extrusion only on that part, on the grease pencil part. This radius thing is a little bit funky. So maybe there's like kind of like a normal flipping there. Include partial, maybe fix it. No, it doesn't. Yeah, so either you have this, I'll bake it, or you have the other one, like so, extrude separate. Both of them pretty valid and can be useful depending how you want to use it for. yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is just like another variations of the previous live noding, but we are using grease pencil and we are using Voronoi 2D nodes, and we can end up with something like this. And this is actually live. Okay, once again, if I switch this to another pattern like this, you see it works. Depending on the grease pencil, it will just work. There's a few glitches here and there, but other than that, this is, I think, it's pretty cool setup. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this live loading. Thanks again for tuning in. If you have any feedbacks, let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.